Today on Monkey Life, Alison comes to the rescue of two pet trade marmosets, both needing a new home. And both with celebrity names she hopes don't sum up their personalities.
We're getting Chuck Norris, the common marmoset, first of all, and then we'll be heading off to get Sid Vicious.
And at the spider monkey enclosure, Toby's using hidden treats to get his lethargic charges working for their breakfast.
Just means that they have to work a bit more, use their tails and their feet and their hands to get down to the food.
Plus, the care team try to find a way for the golden-cheeked gibbons to keep cool, with mixed results. Monkey World in Dorset, buried deep in the English countryside, is the largest sanctuary of its kind on the planet. The team, led by Dr. Alison, rescue and rehabilitate abused and unwanted primates from all over the world.
I think this one's a little boy, and I think that one over there might be an older lady.
The park provides a home for more than 250 monkeys and apes from 20 different species. Park director Alison is setting off on a rescue mission. She's heading to the homes of two marmosets. It's one of the most common monkeys she's asked to take into the park's care. In Britain, monkeys can legally be kept as pets, but the current laws are something Alison campaigns against vigorously, including petitioning Downing Street. Because the specialist needs of these highly intelligent and complex primates are not easy to meet in a home environment. Alison is travelling from the beautiful Dorset countryside to the busy streets of the capital to collect the monkeys.
We're in London right now. We're getting Chuck Norris, the common marmoset, first of all, and then we'll be heading off to High Wycombe to get Sid Vicious.
Alison is contacted regularly by owners who don't want or can't keep their pet monkeys any longer. Space at the park to house new individuals is limited, but she's gradually working her way through a waiting list.
They're sold marmosets by breeders and dealers who mislead them, telling them it's easy to keep an individual at home, they'll make lovely family pets they can eat off of your plate. All of those things are really not true at all because they need to be with other marmosets.
Marmosets are anything but easy to keep at home, as they need companionship of their own kind, an outdoor enclosure, and a specialist diet. They can live up to 15 years, meaning a lifetime's cost and commitment. The first marmoset Alison is to collect is Chuck, who lives in a flat in central London.
Hey, good morning. Good to see you.
His owner, Casaria, has asked Alison to rehome him as she has to return to Georgia in Eastern Europe. Her husband bought Chuck for her from online breeders when he was just a couple of months old. Almost 3 years on, and she's taken care of him 24 hours a day, every day, ever since.
I was like a stay-at-home mum, 24/7 for him. He was raised by humans from the day he was born. He did see a marmoset once at the vet.
Oh, okay.
But he didn't react at all, so I'm not sure whether he noticed him or not, but he didn't have any reaction at all.
It seems Chuck may not recognize his own kind, so he's going to have to learn how to be a marmoset from scratch, something Casaria is keen for him to do.
They do not want human connection. He needs so many things that human beings physically cannot provide. There's nothing you can do to make him feel as good as he would in the wild.
We're just gonna let him out. He's got his own traveling box. Hey, you. And I will get a few mealworms. Hey, little man. Good boy. Yeah.
It's time for Chuck to leave the only life he's ever known. But he's easily persuaded into the box and, unconcerned, tucks into a grape.
I will send you reports, photographs. Tomorrow he will meet all of the others, and tonight he will be in the same room and be able to see and be alongside of all of the others, so he knows he won't be on his own, to make sure that he's happy.
Okay.
How he goes.
Thank you very much.
Handle this myself. But you stay in touch, and we will see you soon, very soon.
Okay.
Okay.
Bye.
You'll see her soon. It's hasta la vista.
Leaving his old home behind, Chuck begins the journey towards a new life.
One down, one to go. Marmosets today, so Chuck's in the box in the back of the car, seems to be doing really well. I'm quite surprised he's very silent. Usually at this point when we've got a marmoset in the box and in the car, you hear little whistles and chirps and things, but he's pretty quiet, so but all good. He's had a fair bit of breakfast, so hopefully he doesn't get car sick, because we're now off to High Wycombe to collect Sid Vicious.
This morning, there's a treat in store for the spider monkeys. Their breakfast time routine is coming with extra entertainment, as Toby from the primate care team is preparing a game of Hunt the Fruit.
Basically, we've got lots of plastic balls and some big tubs, and then some of the spider monkeys' breakfast fruit, really just to give them something exciting to do this morning when they go out for their breakfast.
Spider monkeys are native to Central and South America, with extremely long arms and legs, hence the name. Their population is under threat from hunting and deforestation. Monkey World is home to a small group of 3: Pumpkin, Flint, and Hickory.
Pumpkin is in charge. He's the biggest of the 3. Flint, he's very highly strung. Hickory is the oldest. He is a bit more wary of the other 2, particularly around feed time.
Back in 2012, the threesome were living with a couple of retired zookeepers who'd been given them to hand rear when their own mothers rejected them.
Well, if I can coax him up to this end.
When the couple moved house, they no longer had room for their animals and contacted Alison to see if Monkey World could give them a new home. Luckily, it could, and with the help of their owners, the 3 were rounded up and brought back to the park where they were made to feel at home.
As a trio, they're doing very well here. They're a very settled little group. They've got used to their capuchins, neighbours, and the routine.
A purpose-built outside enclosure was constructed, specifically designed with spider monkeys in mind. It's just a short scamper along a mesh tunnel from their bedroom. But despite all this, the 3 are not the most active of animals.
They absolutely love sitting out in their tunnel system, sunbathing. That's where they spend most of their days, in various sort of poses with legs and arms and tails all over the place.
As well as long arms and legs, the monkeys have a prehensile tail, which they use as an extra limb to hang from and which helps them move around. It's perfect for travelling about in the tree canopy in their native forests. To encourage these 3 to be more active, Toby's using their enclosure to create a game of hide and seek with the fruit. This will make them work for their breakfast and slow down greedy Pumpkin, allowing the boys more chance of some food.
They've got some mixed berries and a few grapes and a bit of cucumber, which would be their normal breakfast, but we're going to give them a few extra treats.
The buckets are spread around the enclosure, some placed high up to encourage climbing, and others swinging from branches.
Just means that they have to work a bit more, use their tails and their feet and their hands to get down to the food, and it moves, so it's a bit different, use different muscles.
When everything is ready, the door from the bedroom is opened, and the trio heads straight across to their enclosure. But there's no sign of their fruit. Pumpkin, unsure what to make of the strange objects, tips the first bucket onto the floor to show she's the boss and isn't impressed. Old Man Hickory is more wary and retreats to the safety of the tunnel. Resourceful Pumpkin is hopeful of finding her fruit and sets about searching through the coloured balls.
She loves her food. It's the one time a day when she moves very quickly, and that's one of the reasons we try and hide the food and make it more difficult, otherwise she'll just sort of stuff it all down.
Flint is tucking in too. Realising he's missing out, Hickory overcomes his fear and returns to the enclosure. Pushy Pumpkin muscles in on Flint's find. He leaves to look for another bucket so he can eat in peace. Eventually, Hickory's tempted to have a look too, and soon gets the hang of it.
It's great to see Hickory getting involved, the other two. Normally he hangs back at food time. He was throwing buckets around and balls and attacking the balls. We've had lots and lots of happy sounds and playful sounds, and we've also had some threatening sounds. Hickory has been telling us off for not paying him the full attention he feels he deserves. They seem to have thoroughly enjoyed themselves, and I'm sure they'll keep going back throughout the day just to see if they can find anything else, and it's definitely something we will try again with them.
Earlier, Alison rescued pet marmoset Chuck Norris from a home in London. Now she's travelled 32 miles north to High Wycombe to collect a second pint-sized primate and meet his owner, Jackie.
What I'll do is leave Chuck in the car with Alan, keeping an eye on him so he's nice and safe, just so we don't have to carry him into Sid's territory. This is the house of Sid, so we'll just knock on the door and see if Jackie's in. Spoke to her many times because Sid's been on our waiting list for months and months, and Jackie's been caring for him. So she's been waiting for this day for a while.
Common marmoset Sid is another victim of the British pet trade. Countless primates are being kept as pets in the UK.
Yeah, really nice to meet you.
Many suffer from a lack of social interaction, poor diets, and inadequate housing. Sid's owner Jackie is aware of the problems.
My son acquired him in about January this year. I was absolutely devastated when my son brought him home because the first thing I said to him, it's cruel. He shouldn't be kept in a little cage like that. It's just not fair on the animal.
In the wild, marmosets live in extended family groups with around 9 members. So to thrive, Sid needs to live with others of his own kind.
He's calling out for other primates, so, you know, he needs other company of other human beings. We're not a substitute for a monkey.
Alison has noticed there's something wrong with Sid.
Well, he is a bit of a funny shape. You know that he's got pretty bad rickets.
Has he?
He's got really bad. Those arms should not be shaped like that as well.
He has his vitamin D.
Yeah,
well, 3 times I got it from America.
He clearly didn't get it as a youngster. The rickets, when it's actually happening to them, is quite a painful thing when the bones are bending, but then they fuse and they become solid. So he'll be left with sort of bowed bones, but they go solid then, and then it doesn't hurt or anything. Okay. So he'll just be a funny little shape.
Rickets is a condition that affects many pet trade marmosets. They don't get enough vitamin D3 from sunlight, especially when they're kept indoors, so their diets need to be supplemented. Jackie has done her best to care for Sid in the short time she's had him, but it's time for him to take his first step towards a more natural, new life.
Did you see what's inside? We've got quite a few things inside, little man.
He loves his blanket.
It's quite a big one.
He goes easily into the travel box.
Oh, he's checking it out. It's new. It's nice in there, too. It's nice in there.
Settled and calm, Sid joins Chuck in the back of the car.
Thanks for looking after him so well.
Pleasure.
Okay, you come down to the park soon. Nice to meet all of you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
It's an emotional goodbye for Jackie. As Alison, Sid and Chuck set off on the drive back to the park.
Really happy so far. Just have to hope that everything goes as well when we try and introduce them to others of their own kind. That's the more scary part.
The thermometer has been steadily rising, and today the British summer's at its peak. It's important that all the primates at the park stay cool and hydrated on these hot, sunny days. Some seek shade in their leafy enclosures. Others drink from water bottles, while some have ice lollies to enjoy. But the gibbons at the park need to drink very little.
Gibbons in the wild, they get a lot of their water from the food that they actually consume. They don't actively go out and drink water, really, as a general rule of thumb. So they eat a lot of fruit, which has a high proportion of water, but also even if they're eating leaves, which would seem like a dry substance, because they live in a rainforest, they're generally wet on the outside anyway. So a lot of that is actually what they're consuming.
On a hot day, Kat has come up with a cooling idea. And she's going to try it out on one of the golden-cheeked gibbon families. The family is made up of Mum Peanut, Dad Peng Yo, along with their daughter Tia Nang and son Tio.
Today, I'm just making some treats in the water trunks. So hopefully this will be a bit of fun and get them interacting with it and hopefully drinking a bit as well.
With the last bucket in place, the doors to the floating lunch buffet are opened. Peanut's the boss of the family and she's first in. The kids Tia Nang and Tio aren't far behind Mum. Straight to the trug, Tio dips his hand in to search for a treat. But somebody's missing. Dad stayed outside. As the temperature's been rising, so have tensions in the family group. And Peng Yo is keeping his distance from Peanut. Tio may be the younger of the two offspring, but this young male will soon reach sexual maturity, and that's beginning to cause a few problems in the family. Soon, he may have to move to another group.
He's a real full-on character. He's got loads of energy. He's always up to mischief. He's always wanting to play, and you know, he's just full of fun and full of life.
She's not wrong. Today, he's out to cause havoc.
Theo, you're such a brat.
And as far as he's concerned, emptying out the trug is the best way to get at the finger food. Peanut and Tia Nang don't mind. They get the spoils from the floor. Tio thinks he could avoid the water by tipping over the tub trugs, but that's not the case. The food might be easier to get at now, but with the water all over the floor, the gibbons are still getting wet and cooled down.
Hasn't gone exactly according to plan. Tio tipped over every one of the trugs, so the other guys are actually just picking the food up from the wet floor. So everybody's got wet feet. And everybody has eaten wet lettuce, but perhaps has not got as wet as I would have liked them to. So we're just going to have to adapt it slightly for the next time.
But the trio, minus Dad, who still hasn't put in an appearance, have enjoyed their lunch. And they disappear back outside, leaving Kat with the clearing up. It's the end of a long journey for two common marmosets that Alison rescued from London earlier today. Steph from the primate care staff is on hand to welcome them to their new home. Sid, the smaller of the two, is taken into his bedroom first. And when the travel box door is opened, he seems a little bit unsure about venturing far. But before long, the inquisitive marmoset starts to explore his new space and takes a good look across the corridor to the rest of the complex, which is home to two other marmosets. With Sid settling in, across the corridor, it's Chuck's turn to go into his new bedroom too.
This one might be more of a high-speed exit.
He might be. Might expect.
Yep, you're out.
Sid and Chuck are in opposite rooms, so the newcomers can see and communicate with each other. Something new for both of them.
Chuck and Sid back to the park, into their bedrooms, and they're doing really well, I'm pleased. And Chuck Norris over here seems bomb-proof. He's been eating some food and seems happy, confident, bouncing around.
More is known about Chuck's background as he's been with the same owner since a baby. He was well looked after and is a confident and happy individual. Sid, on the other hand, had been passed from pillar to post before ending up with his last owners, and he's bearing the scars of a difficult past.
I couldn't really get a feel for how bad he was crippled because he was only on that sofa. And not an ideal environment for the marmoset. So yeah, indeed, he's got pretty bad rickets and his mobility is limited and those legs are tucked up underneath him, so he sort of hops more than he actually walks.
Sid must have developed rickets in his early life. It's left him permanently disabled, but he's managing to move around reasonably well. It doesn't take long for the boys to notice each other.
So Chuck is doing a series of quite high-pitched contact calls. He's aware that other marmosets are around. The twittering is generally quite a friendly, sort of sociable, chatty noise. They'll be sort of taking each other's measure and sussing out where everybody is, and sort of little contact calls are nice. So fingers crossed that everybody's going to be prepared to get along.
It bodes well that the boys are chatting, and for the rest of the day and overnight, they'll stay in their own bedrooms so they can continue to settle in.
Tomorrow will be the first day that they go back with marmosets since they were removed from their mothers as infants. So really pleased, fingers crossed for what comes next.
Next time on Monkey Life. Orangutan Kai and his two ladies, Linga and Jolie, survey their new Spanish home.
And they just need time to get to know the place and get over the fact that there's those great big dinosaurs over there that look really threatening.
And Sid and Chuck the marmosets meet, with surprising results.
How funny.